Hello and welcome. My name is Anna. I'm from the blog canfilledcreations.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a crepe cake. This is a dairy-free recipe, and right now you are seeing me mix together all of the ingredients, including the flour, the eggs, the almond milk, and the water. The coconut oil, 3 tablespoons of coconut oil is in the microwave currently. I'm going to melt that and then I'm going to be adding it to my existing batter. And I also added in the salt. And I'm just going to go ahead and whisk that together thoroughly until there are no longer any lumps visible. It took quite a bit of whisking to get it to the consistency that I was looking for. It was definitely an arm workout, but it'll be deliciously worth it later, that's for sure. Okay, so I grabbed my nonstick pan, placed it on the stove, and turned the heat on to medium. And I sprayed a little bit of nonstick olive oil spray into the pan. And keep in mind, this is my first time ever making crepes, so it was definitely a learning process trying to figure out how to do it. At this point I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. It was going so horribly. But actually the ones from the beginning I used in the final crepe cake and it turned out looking really good. I was just too critical of myself. I did end up hanging out in the kitchen for like 30 or 45 minutes making these crepes until I finally got to the end of the batter. And I felt like at that point I was doing pretty good. I figured out that I did not have to actually pick up the pan and tilt it all fancy like. All I had to do was just leave it on the stove and go ahead and just do this spiral motion, this circular motion, and then fill in the little gaps. It was so much easier than trying to spread it out by like tilting the pan around. And it produced a way more evenly shaped crepe, and I liked the way that it looked a lot better. So if you try this recipe out, just give yourself a few tries. It'll take a moment to get the hang of it, that's for sure. Finally, I was done making all of the crepes, and I just kind of let them rest at room temperature for a little while I was starting to make the coconut glaze. So I'm just adding my powdered sugar. I used 1.5 cups, and then I added in my vanilla, and right here I have my coconut milk that I'm going to go ahead and put into this bowl. I was hoping that the cream would just come out separate already. A lot of times it does, but this time it was kind of mixed together. So I went ahead and got my fine mesh sieve and some cheesecloth, and I just strained that coconut milk until all I had was the cream left. I added the cream to the powdered sugar mixture and placed that bowl on my stand mixer. And I just turned it on stir at first so that powdered sugar wouldn't get everywhere. Scraped the sides of the bowl and went ahead and just let it run. Whisk the crap out of it so that it's nice and smooth. And then I went ahead and poured it into this mason jar. Any airtight container will work great though, whatever you've got. And yeah, I just scraped the rest of the bowl. Definitely made a mess in the process, but that's what happens. So I just cleaned up my mess. I went ahead and closed the mason jar. And I turned around and grabbed my crepes and went ahead and put those in the fridge first. Made sure I had a clear spot for it, which is surprising because most of the time my fridge is completely full with stuff. I actually cleaned it out that day and made room for this. Alright, now begins the fun part. I started to put together the crepe cake itself. I'm just layering some lemon curd here, and the coconut icing is next. While I was decorating, it definitely started to slide around near like the halfway point. So at this point I stuck it into the freezer and let it set for a little bit before taking it back out and finishing up. I also learned that it was better to use a little bit less of the fillings. It was a lot more stable near the top because I only used like a quarter-sized amount. So I highly recommend that you do the same, although it is delicious with more filling. Cutting into this was so difficult. Sometimes the messiest foods are the most delicious. Like s'mores, for example, they get everywhere. I took a bite and it was so yummy. I had so much fun putting this recipe together. If you try it out, let me know by leaving a comment below. If you'd like to see the full printable version of this recipe, I left a link in the comments to the blog post. Thank you so much.